Hello, good morning. So today is December 31st, and therefore one day before the new year. In many parts of the world, it is already the new year, and we're all celebrating something, I hope. The most important thing, of course, to celebrate is existence, life. So today I thought, since everybody is talking about New Year resolutions and goals and intentions, I thought I'd share with you what I think are the four most useful intentions to reinvent your life, reinvent your experience of the body, reinvent your experience of emotional well-being, reinvent your experience of what we call the mind, and ultimately reinvent everything in existence creatively, through subtle intention. So if you stay with me towards the end, I will share my four subtle intentions which have guided me all my life. Four subtle intentions that have guided me all my life. So first of all, let's just try and understand what is intention and what is subtle intention. Okay, intention is an impulse in awareness for experience. Once again, intention is an impulse in awareness for an experience. And subtle intention is even prior to thought, even prior to verbal thought, although it can be associated with a verbal thought. So let's do a few things to make this very clear, what subtle intention is. Raise your hand right now, like I did. That was subtle intention. You didn't verbally say to yourself, I am going to raise my hand. You had the intention and it happened. Okay? Similarly, when I speak, I have the intention to speak. I don't tell my vocal cords, please start vibrating. Similarly, when I go to sleep at night, I have the subtle intention, I'm going to sleep. I don't say to myself, please go to sleep, please go to sleep, please go to sleep. In fact, trying to sleep and forcing yourself to sleep is the biggest cause of insomnia. When you move your bowels, you have a subtle intention. When you empty your bladder, you have a subtle intention. When you move from here to there, you have a subtle intention. So that subtle intention is pre-verbal. In Sanskrit, it is called sankalpa. Sankalpa, S-A-N-K-A-L-P-A. And the source of this subtle intention is pure consciousness. Remember, whenever I talk of pure consciousness, I always talk about 5 attributes of pure consciousness. Number 1, it's a field of infinite possibilities. Number 2, it's a field of infinite correlation. It correlates space-time events and organizes them into their fulfillment. So once again, pure consciousness, field of infinite possibilities. It is the source of subtle intention, which has infinite organizing power through infinite correlation. Even something simply as speaking right now, my intention is to communicate with you and to give you some information that hopefully will help you. And that intention is orchestrating the vibration of my vocal cords. It's organizing the sequential unfoldment of ideas. It is organizing syntax, grammar, punctuation, and basically taking words, correlating them with each other as sentences and this speech, and we are communicating. But it begins with a subtle intention, okay, which is organizing this complexity that is required even for me to speak to you, okay? So everything is subtle intention in the body. Now, of course, we say that we have two nervous systems. One is the voluntary nervous system, which we use to orchestrate volition, as we call it. It involves the motor and sensory cortex in the brain. And so every example I've given you right now is subtle intention organizing its fulfillment through part of the brain that's called the voluntary nervous system, orchestrated through the motor cortex, which is a strip. And in right-handed people, the motor cortex is on the left side. In left-handed people, it's on the right side of the brain. Then there's another part of our nervous system, which is called the autonomic nervous system. And that has two components: the sympathetic nervous system, which allows us to navigate experience when we're challenged. It's responsible for the fight-flight response, for the reactive response, for basically everything that requires us being alert and ready. But then there's another part of our nervous system, which is the parasympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system are both part of the autonomic nervous system, which means the involuntary nervous system, which is basically at this moment in charge of everything that's happening in your body, which is below the threshold of your conscious awareness. So your metabolism, your electrolyte balance, your blood pressure, your heart rate variability, your immune system, your endocrine system, all this is being orchestrated by your involuntary or autonomic nervous system below the level of your conscious awareness. If you need to run, your voluntary system will automatically get activated. Or if you just are in any dangerous situation. On the other hand, if you're in flow and flexibility and totally relaxed, then your parasympathetic nervous system starts to get activated, and the two dance together to regulate your body and bring about what is called homeostasis. So what we call the subconscious mind is operating through the autonomic nervous system. Of course, whatever is in the subconscious mind also surfaces in the conscious mind when there is a need to address it through voluntary choices. So normally you're not aware of all the activity that's happening in your body, in your internal organs, but if something goes wrong, then you feel discomfort. It comes to your conscious awareness. You say, what is it that's creating this discomfort? Did I not sleep well last night? Was I too stressed? Why did I get upset with that person that I was speaking to? Did I overeat, etc., etc.? So, things that are below the level of our conscious awareness surface in the conscious mind when something goes wrong. So we can make appropriate choices to correct them. Okay, so I think by now I have hopefully explained to you that subtle intention organizes its own fulfillment through what I call non-local correlation, which means without exchange of energy and information, all the cells in your body, all the organs in your body work together. They correlate their activities together. And by the way, that's happening in the universe. We call it the universe, one song. So the universe is like a symphony, and we are all expressions of that symphony, and we are activities of that symphony. And when we go out of harmony with that symphony, then we feel discomfort. So discomfort is a movement away from self-regulation at the highest level, which is at the level of awareness even prior to conscious experience. So conscious experience is an activity of awareness, but there's a lot of experience that's happening in the cells in your body, in the organs, that is not surfacing to the level of your conscious awareness. Awareness is the potentiality for experience, both what we call conscious experience, but also unconscious experience. Unconscious experience still being orchestrated by subtle intention. The most powerful subtle intention, of course, is the will to live. The will to live, the desire to live, is orchestrating the activity right now of your autonomic nervous system. It is also giving you hints into the conscious choices that you need to make in order to fine-tune homeostasis or self-regulation in the direction of well-being, physical well-being, emotional well-being, mental well-being, and ultimately spiritual well-being. But the key here again is to understand subtle intention is pure potentiality moving into an activity, ultimately orchestrating its own fulfillment through non-local correlation and infinite organizing power. Infinite organizing power. Sarah Lee says DNA is orchestrating. Actually, no, you are orchestrating. DNA is the symbolic representation of that. And we know that from epigenetics. Okay, you can turn your genes on and off. You can sculpt your brain. You can change the appearance of your body by shifting from one experience to another and consciously choosing experiences that modulate the activity of your genes and even sculpt your brain. Yes, your brain is created by genes, but it is sculpted by experiences, every experience that you have. Your perceptions, your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, your choices, your intentions. Okay, now go back to the idea that subtle intention comes from pure consciousness, field of infinite possibilities, field of infinite correlation, field of infinite organizing power, field of infinite creativity, field of unpredictability. All those things are a given in pure consciousness. And when you introduce subtle intention in pure consciousness, then it organizes its own fulfillment. In fact, the more subtle, the more pre-verbal it is, the more powerful it is. The subtler levels of existence are much more powerful and organize the experience of the more gross levels of existence, which we call the physical world and the physical body, which are modified forms of perceptual activity, which means ultimately modified form of consciousness. The fact that I can lift my hand, the fact that I can turn my gaze in certain direction, the fact that I can speak just through subtle intention is already evidence that that intention is orchestrating multiple activities in the body and correlating them with each other. Okay, so here are the 4 subtle intentions that I'm going to show you right now. You don't have to close your eyes, and if you do these, you will reinvent your life. I have done this all my life. Okay, so keep your eyes closed, but put your awareness in your entire body right now, and a few times just introduce this intention. Keep your awareness in your entire body, because the body is made out of awareness. Remember, body is a modified form of awareness. And you can keep your eyes open, but feel your body and introduce this subtle intention, which means mentally introduce it at the level of thought, but then we'll go beyond thought. So here's the first intention: joyful, energetic body. Say it a few times. Joyful, energetic body, not verbally, but mentally. Joyful, energetic body. Joyful, energetic body. Joyful, energetic body. Okay, now don't say it mentally, just feel the body with that intention. Feel the body with that intention. Okay, now move your awareness here into your heart. And keep your eyes open, soft eyes. Soft eyes means no focused gaze, just awareness in the body. And introduce the intention mentally a few times. Loving, compassionate heart. Loving, compassionate heart. Loving, compassionate heart. Loving, compassionate heart. And now stop repeating it, but just keep your awareness here and feel that experience of loving, compassionate heart without using the words. Second intention. Third intention. Bring your awareness here in between the eyebrows, third eye. Again, just bring your awareness here. You don't even have to look there. Just bring your awareness here. Soft eyes. Awareness here. And a few times mentally. Reflective, alert mind. 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 And right now, then don't even use those words. Just keep your awareness here and that intention. Reflective, alert mind. Okay, that was intention number 3. And now let your awareness move outside from your body, outside the boundaries of your skin. Let it pervade all of space-time. Let your awareness move outside from your body, from every single cell of your body. Go across the boundary of your skin, pervade all of space-time, and the intention is lightness of being. Lightness of being. That's the highest intelligence, by the way. Lightness of being. And now totally unfocus from everything. Soft eyes. Allow awareness to expand beyond your body. And just have that subtle intention without verbalizing it. Lightness of being. Now imagine if these 4 subtle intentions organize their own fulfillment. You experience your body as joyful and energetic. You experience love and compassion in your heart all the time. Your mind was reflective but alert all the time. And you had lightness of being. Lightness of being means no anticipation, no regrets, no resistance, the right spontaneous and effortless choice in the moment as needed. What we call spontaneous right action or intuition. Bridget asks, is there a book where I've written about this? Yeah, there are many books, but the big book where I've written about this is the Book of Secrets, but also a lot of this is also in MetaHuman. The Book of Secrets and MetaHuman are the two books which talk about how you can use consciousness to reinvent your life, reinvent your body, resurrect your soul. That's another book as well. So there are many books where I deal with this. Okay, now imagine your life where you always experience a joyful, energetic body, a reflective, alert, creative mind, and love and compassion in your heart, and total lightness of being, spontaneous right action, spontaneous choices, without anticipation, without regrets, without the burden of memory, without resistance. You just happen to do the right thing at the right time for the right reason. It's also called intuition, a form of intelligence that is contextual, relational, holistic, doesn't have a win-lose orientation, goes beyond cause-effect, and actually orchestrates infinite correlation, infinite organizing power, which is inherent in your being. Yes, Katie, a lot of these exercises are there on the Daily Breath podcast as well, which you can hear by going to iTunes or Apple or Spotify, etc. Okay, summarize. Reinvent your life with 4 subtle intentions. Joyful, energetic body, loving, compassionate heart, reflective, alert mind, lightness of being. Joyful, energetic body, the whole body. Love and compassion coming from here. Reflection, lightness of being. Lightness of being is actually also flow. It also is transcendence. It's loss of ego identity. It is the highest intelligence that a human being can experience. Haley Smith, how do we practice no resistance? Just by being. Just by being. Resistance localizes you, contracts you. You feel tight. All the sphincters get tight. So you can start by relaxing your body. Okay. So I hope this was helpful. I see that you are responding and it has been helpful. Well, wonderful new year. Stay with the subtle intentions and let's continue our journey to source. Source. Commit to living from the source. There is one little phrase in the Bhagavad Gita that says it all. Yogast Kuru Karmani. Established in yoga, perform action. Established in yoga, have intention. Yoga means union. Yogast. Connect with the source. Live at the source, the matrix of all existence, and have intention. And then let it organize its own fulfillment. The source is the presence of being, and being is very light. You know why? Because it has no volume, it has no shape, it has no color, it has no location in space. it does not exist in time. There's nothing lighter than being, and nothing more joyful than being. And please don't confuse pleasure with happiness, with joy. Pleasure is a momentary experience which is the opposite of pain. Pleasure can lead us also to various kinds of happiness. We get pleasure out of a relationship, we get pleasure out of, these days, a lot of people get pleasure out of shopping, or they get pleasure out of recreation, or they get pleasure from drinking alcohol or having sex. And that pleasure does give rise to a certain amount of happiness, which is transient. But don't confuse happiness with joy. Happiness is the contrast from pain and pleasure. The more you move in the direction of pleasure, the happier you feel while you're experiencing it. But then it goes away. Joy has nothing to do with depending on a reason. Happiness is always for a reason, but joy is independent of all reasons. It's very innate. It is lightness of being. Lightness of being is innate joy, independent of both happiness and unhappiness, independent from both hope and despair. You see, when you say I'm hopeful, you imply that there is some element of despair. When you say I want to be happy, you imply that there is some element of unhappiness. But joy is independent. It's fundamental lightness of being, of presence, of self, prior to even intention. Okay, I think that's enough. I've spoken enough, taken enough of your time, and may you be joyful. May all beings be joyful. And if we were all joyful, this would be a joyful world. Let's not spoil it with war and violence and ethnocentrism and racism and bigotry and hatred. All forms of violence are violence to our own self. Peace, ahimsa, non-violence, love, compassion, joy, lightness of being, transcendence, flow, they all go together. Happy New Year. Namaste, Anna. Roxandra, namaste. Pak says amen. Robin says yes. Salah says love. You're all such wonderful people. If we all hung out together, we could create a more peaceful, joyful, loving, sustainable, healthier world. Let's do it. Let's do it this coming year. Or let's give it a shot. Happy New Year.